so I'm just kind of the camera guy. I do a little bit of the heavy lifting, if you will, but Kelly does the mental work, and so she's done a wonderful job. So hey, what's up everybody? John here, back in the garden on a Saturday. It's a beautiful day. It's cloudy and overcast, and I don't think we have much chance of rain because we had the rain yesterday and the day before, so I think it's going to be pretty pleasant out here. We won't have to worry so much about the sun coming out and making it too hot. So we got a lot going on in the garden, but the number one thing right now, we'll get to all the other stuff, but right now I'm on a hunt. We got army worms, and they've been on our onions, they've been in the strawberry patch, and they have been on the tomatoes, and we've killed probably 10 or 12 or so. But just as I was walking past the tomato plants, I saw at least one worm, and I'm pretty sure there's one over on the onions. So you know what, let's just go ahead and get to it. We're going to find these army worms as best we can, and then we'll get into the rest of the garden. So stay tuned. Thank you guys for clicking on the video and for taking the time to actually watch. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys. Here we go. All right, well, you see the damage there on the tomato right there, those shallow holes. That is from an army worm, or a few army worms, or I don't know if it's one or multiple, but anyhow, it's army worm damage. And so we are looking for those culprits. And I'm looking at evidence right here. You see this right here? That's, oh, I lost it. So that little black speck that I was trying to grab a hold of, that's army worm poop. So that is more evidence that the worms are around. So I just saw one. Let's take a look. All right, right there. That, my friends, is another army worm. Well, that's the first one you're going to see. I've already seen one over on the onions, but we're going to have to be very diligent, try to get rid of these things, because they'll chew into the tomatoes, chew into the onions, and we don't want our stuff damaged. As much as we have struggled trying to get everything to grow this year, we don't need some other something coming along and taking away all our work. So anyway, I'm gonna get rid of this one and we're gonna move on. So the fish really seem to like the army worm, so we're gonna let them eat them. Bye-bye. So I just found a really fat sucker. So I just picked off the leaf off of the tomato plant and decided I'm just gonna get rid of the whole thing. Anyway, stupid things. All right, so that is not an army worm. That is a hornworm, and that baby is fat. So we're definitely getting rid of him. Well, there's two more.
Oh God, please tell me I'm not the only one who's in this situation. Just when I think of you, my fingers started shaking.
Well, there's a couple more. It's man, it's really hard to see them sometimes. They get up underneath the leaves. Sometimes the leaves are curled over them, and so they hide there. And so I'm pretty sure I probably did not even get all of them because there's just way too many places for them to hide. But I saw a lot of worm poop, and so there's a lot of evidence that they're there. It could just be from 1 or 2 worms moving along the plant, or it could be from a whole bunch that I didn't see. So anyway, probably here in a little while, I may try to run and go see if I can find some BT. We've looked a couple places, but it's not maybe it's not the easiest thing to find. Maybe a lot of people are struggling. I don't know, but we got to do something, because if these go relatively unchecked, they could really put a hurting on some tomatoes and some tomato plants that have really started to do well. So I don't know, we'll see. So I'm going to get rid of that, and that is a small baby one. There are we have killed a number of the bigger ones in the last week. So, but if you look at, you can see right here the tops here where it's been eaten off, and if you really start to look down, let's see, right here, look at all those holes there. So armyworms getting on there and chewing on it and making a meal. So we can just make it through the growing season, make it through harvest, and get all the goodies, then we won't have to worry so much. But they're a pain, and they will really cause a problem if we don't take care of them. So we're looking for some BT. All indications show that that's the best thing to use. So that's what we're going to be looking for here in maybe even today, and hopefully we can treat for these stupid little critters. Stay tuned. All right, so I actually cut the little leaf, the stalk stem part off of one of the onions here. If you see, I sliced it open. You can see the damage that had been caused, and so when I cut it off, I opened it up. You see that? The little boogers have been down inside, and that's where they defecated. So gotta take care of them. Okay, well, that's gonna do it for the worm hunting portion of today's video. Now let's take a look at some actual positive things that are happening here in the garden. And let's start right here with the green beans. I just think this is so cool. I've said it before, and I'll probably say it again. Just the way that they vine out and grow. I sure am glad that we put the extra string up a few weeks back, because it gave them someplace to go and to grow out over the path here. So they are still just super full, and just keep on growing. We have so many green beans now in the freezer, amongst the 6 of us. We haven't eaten any yet, but they look real pretty sitting in the freezer. So whenever the time comes that we're gonna actually eat them, I think they're gonna be good, and never mind the guy driving by with no exhaust. Anyway, so yeah, the green beans, it's one of those things that at first we thought they weren't going to grow real big because they just looked like they were going to stunt in their growth, but bam, they just did. They grew up fast once they finally started. So let's keep moving. Now, as far as the green beans go, we do have things that are getting on the leaves again. Early in the season it was Japanese beetles. I haven't seen any around recently, but That doesn't mean they're not here, but something is getting on the leaves and eating holes in them. But it's really not doing a whole lot of damage right now. You know, it's just kind of one of those things where it's healthy enough, the plants are healthy enough that I don't think much leaf damage is going to do a lot of hurt to them. So we'll keep an eye out, but I think we're going to be good for now. So down here with our spaghetti squash, the leaves, the whole plant system, it used to be like big and full and really lush looking. This whole area would have been full a couple weeks ago with the leaves. But a couple weeks ago I showed you that we got powdery mildew, and I don't know if that is what is causing the leaves to die back, but I have treated them a couple of times with some what is it called, neem oil. Treated them the last 2 weeks with neem oil, and the mildew is not nearly as bad as it was because it was a thick cover. We'll treat them again this Tuesday because 7-day rotation. So but it's just, I don't like to see the leaves dying back like that. But you know, it's just like everything else in the garden. Sometimes it's a race to see if the fruit matures before the plant dies off, or if it will all grow together, or what's going to happen. So at least we have some spaghetti squash on the vine, and we'll keep an eye out on it. So let's actually take a look at some of these spaghetti squash. So we've got these two right here. You can tell they're not real big. My hand is, you know, I can easily palm that spaghetti squash. This one here was our first one to actually grow, and our second one right here, and they're looking pretty good. So I think these two are going to make it just fine. I really think that these two over here probably are going to be okay, but as we come around here, there's another one down deep in the corner here, and it was, I think, the last one to come on, and we'll see how this one does. But I mean, there still are a lot of blooms. I don't know if they will go ahead and make any spaghetti squash, but you know, we will find out. So yeah, a couple weeks ago you would not been able to look through here and see that spaghetti squash right there. That's just how the leaves have grown back or died back, or whatever the case may be. So Kelly's replacement planting of the zucchini squash is doing fabulous. It's got some of the powdery mildew on it, but we are treating that. We don't have any blooms yet, but if you look right in there, can you see where the blooms are going to be? So hopefully they will open up in the next few days here and actually start to produce. So I think there's still time to actually get some fruit from the zucchini plant, so we will definitely be excited if that is the case. So let's take a look over here at our squash and zucchini plants that we had an issue with a month ago, or however long ago it was, that had the borer in it, and that we actually had to dig into the stalks with. They had a lot of damage. Some of them had some transplant trauma, and so let's just take a look and see how good they're doing now. So here is a yellow squash, You can see it looks pretty good. It's not nearly as big and full as what I just showed you over with the zucchini second planting, but look at that, little baby squash. So hopefully that blossom right there got pollinated, so that will go ahead and produce. Over here, there's bugs on me. Over here on this one, there's a little squash there, but look at it. What do you see? Half green, half yellow. Well, we're not sure if that was a cross pollination. So there is a variety of squash that is half yellow, half green. I don't know if that's what it is, if that's what kind of seed was actually in the packet. But I hope it got pollinated, because I want to watch it grow. I want to see how it turns out with the half green, half yellow. Only time will tell. So if it does grow, that's going to be pretty awesome. All right, so we're going to take a look over here at our original zucchini plants, and I don't know, they just look weird. I think it's because of all the trauma and the damage that we did to them early on, and because of the boars. But there's a couple things I want to show you. So this one here, it got top heavy and it leaned over. It's kind of twisting on itself, but there's a blossom. However, over here, I didn't think I'd see the day that this particular plant would actually put on a zucchini after all the damage that was done to it. So, nature is versatile. God's creation is amazing, because he created things in such a way that outside of our best understanding, we can't understand why things go ahead and survive and thrive. Whenever we count them out, they still go. So whenever the world counts you out, if you're in Christ, you're not out, because you are in the family. So anyway, that's a little something I remember sometimes when I'm out in the garden, is just how good God is. Because we can do everything right out in the garden. Things don't always turn out, but we can rest in Christ and his finished work on the cross. So yeah, I hope that encourages you today. So our second planting of lettuce really is looking good. It actually has come up real nicely and really quickly. Much more so than the first time back in the spring when we planted. And then of course we've got some spinach that is growing up, and I'm looking forward to seeing what that looks like. I've never actually grown spinach, and of course this is really only the second or third time that I've ever done lettuce. We did lettuce in a container in the backyard here a few years ago, and then earlier this summer we did the lettuce here in this little bed, and now, lettuce here in this little bed, and now second planting of it. So we are by far not experts at any of this, but I'll tell you, when it comes to eating, I'm pretty good at it. We'll take a look at these tomato plants over here in the containers. Now I've showed and mentioned a few times that dark spot on top of the tomatoes that we're not sure about. It's not on each of the plants. It's this plant, not this plant, not this plant, or this one, but it is on this one, and I think not on this one. Well, so I posted a picture of the dark topped tomatoes on one of the gardening and homesteading groups on Facebook, And I had a few people tell me that it's not, it has nothing to do with the variety. It has to do with a particular plant and those some sort of nutrients maybe, but that too much sun, like maybe not sun damage, but just as it was putting on fruit, that just a little too much hot sun. I don't know. So seriously, if you do know what causes that dark fingers over the top of the green tomato, it seems like if the fruit ripens, it really kind of pushes that dark out. So if you do know, would you leave me a comment down below? Like I said, we're not experts, but we're doing the best we can. Another week or so and we will be ready to harvest the potatoes. You see they are dying back. But there's still some that are needing to die before we harvest this other. These are two different varieties. These are two different varieties of potatoes here. I'm not sure which is which, but this one here looks like it probably is going to be ready to harvest sooner than the other one, because you can see how dyed back it is. You can see how much it has died back compared to the other one. So yeah, maybe next week, maybe the week after, we will be able to go ahead and do that. I don't know, we'll see. And of course last week we took out the canning or the pickling cucumber plants over here, and Kelly planted green peas. Well, let's have a look here. We've got peas growing up already, starting to make their little plants. So that is super encouraging. And of course we still have the cucumber plants. Our burpless is still producing, and oh my gosh, we haven't we haven't harvested cucumber in a couple days, and we had rain. Oh my gosh. So we had rain, and I think it really soaked up some water, because that thing is huge. I'm probably going to go ahead and harvest that one here in a couple minutes. That's a big one. Well, let's take a look real quick at this plant and see what else is getting close to being ready. So like I said, we got this huge one. What else back here? So we got a pretty nice one right down here. Right in, well, that's so thick I can't see. Anyway, one up here. So we do have a few on there that are going to grow to full maturity relatively soon. There's some on there that look kind of jankety, so I don't know if they're actually going to fully mature. There are some new growth baby cucumbers that are still coming on, because there's still quite a few blooms. So yeah, we don't know what to expect as long as we're in terms of longevity, but it's still producing, so we're good for now. Anyhow, there are quite a few on there, and I think I missed this one. So it's kind of skinny still, but it won't be long. Not like not like the big one that is right through here. So like I said, I'm going to probably harvest that one here in just a few minutes. So, all right, let's take a look at the cantaloupe. So there's the cantaloupe. If we, like I said before, if we would have not wrapped it inside the bed and let it grow out, it would have come all the way out here probably and over to here, but that would just kind of be out in the way, and so we've wrapped it inside. But let's see if we can find a cantaloupe, something like that right there. Can you see it? I don't know how much light it's giving you, but there's a cantaloupe. And if you pull back the leaves throughout there, there are a couple of small cantaloupes even still. I know there's another one over here. One right there. Anyhow, that was that's kind of anticlimactic, but there's a couple of cantaloupes. There's still a lot of blooms, still a lot of possibility for cantaloupes to start producing. But like I said last week, I don't know that we have time before it gets too cool for them to actually grow and mature. So it's a waiting game once again. Our grape tomatoes really are looking good, and the plant itself has just taken off. It stretches over here, out this way, across over there, and it has been tied up. And I'm thinking, we needed more space for all of this plant. So it's a good thing that our cherry tomatoes went ahead and finished production, because we wouldn't have had space for both plants. Marigold's looking good. Boy, like I said, it took a long time for them to actually grow. We'll have to start those at least a month before everything else next time. Our tomato plants over here, like you saw a little earlier, I went worm hunting and found a number of worms, but the plants are still good. Same thing over here, just nothing spectacular to report, just the fact that we need to take care of the worms. The strawberry bed really is nice looking. Let's see what they do next year. Now, down here, I think they're called June berries. Anyway, they just produce once, and we got them after their production dates. So if they overwinter okay, then next year I think they really should do really well as far as growth and producing strawberries for the one harvest that they will give us. So tune in. It'll be a number of months, but we might have strawberries off those plants. I've already showed you the onions a little bit when I found the worm, but let's actually take a look at the onions and see how they're doing otherwise. Like I mentioned last week, I mean, they really have taken off in the, last week they were probably double the size from the week before. They got a nice bulb that is sticking up out of the ground. You know, I'm very pleased at how these onions started doing. Down through here, oop. I mean, you can see just how nice they look. So I think we're going to be good, even with the worms causing us an issue. I think we're going to be able to have a full harvest of those and not have too much damage that is going to wreck the onions. So yeah, that's that's pretty much it for the garden this week. No, that's not. Let's go take a look over here real quick. So we actually have other onions that we planted long time ago, back early, and you know, they finally started growing also. So let's take a look. Right down here at the end of the bed. Now this was the cabbage bed, and see, we still got one lone little bitty cabbage. But so we planted onions at the end here and at the end down here, and like I said, they finally started to put on after a few months. And a little booger, check it out. Can you see it? As we're going, there's a stupid little worm. He's gonna die. So anyway, but getting back to this, we redid this bed after we took the cabbages out and added more dirt, some manure compost, and planted beet seeds. Well, take a look. We got beet plants. Those greens coming up. We got beets. So we'll see how they do. Like I said before, I don't know that I've ever eaten a beet. I see people talking about many different ways that you can prepare them. I know it's a root. I've heard people say, oh, they taste like dirt. Well, they come out of the ground. You'll say roast them with some butter, grill them, fry them in a skillet, pickle them. I don't know. I've never had them. If you like beets and there's a particular way that you like to prepare them, leave a comment down in the comment section, and maybe we'll give it a try whenever the time comes. So I like it. Well, I don't know if I like it or not, but if you like it, maybe I'll like it, because I like food. So like I said, leave me a comment, tell me how we should prepare beets. The garden has been rather productive this year, at least with cabbage and cucumber. So a few weeks back, Kelly made some sauerkraut, and she put it in jars to ferment it that way. And so we're about 3 weeks in, and watch for an update just on the sauerkraut. Like a few weeks back, we also bought 100 pounds of tomatoes, and so the tomatoes got processed into different types of tomato sauces. We got the green beans that are in the freezer. We've got a number of tomatoes, about 3 gallons worth of tomatoes in bags out of the garden that are in the freezer right now. A number of small little tomatoes you saw a month and a half ago when we harvested our first little set of onions, just so we could get them out of the ground so they didn't go bad. We got a handful of those left. Yeah, and so we still have some things going on. We still have things from our summer planting that we still will be harvesting. We have peas and beets that are planted now for fall harvest, lettuce and spinach also for fall harvest. So still a lot left to be done, but you know, we've been enjoying it. Sometimes it's frustrating, sometimes it's a lot of work physically, but there's a lot of brain power that goes into it, and Kelly has been doing a wonderful job kind of keeping things straight and figuring out what we need to do. So I'm just kind of the camera guy. I do a little bit of the heavy lifting, if you will, but Kelly does the mental work, and so she's done a wonderful job. So anyway, you guys, like I've said before, I really appreciate you guys watching. It's going to be the end for today, and hit the like button, Please subscribe, ring the notification bell so you will know when the next video comes out. You guys, 2 more subscribers and I hit 30, and significance of that, I don't know, but 30 is 30, and so maybe you're one of the 2 that's gonna put me there. So anyway, I'm gonna keep making videos. Some of them are gonna have a little different feel to it. So yeah, anyway, you guys have a great rest of your day, whatever day it is you're watching this, and I will see you on the next video.